Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lackawanna City Council caucus meeting for May 6, 2024. Members of the gallery, as well as the public who may be watching at home. The caucus is used, as I indicate at every meeting, by the council to discuss and review each and every one of the agenda items. It gives us an opportunity to debate, discuss, ask questions, whatever the case may be. Once we're done with that, we will move directly into the formal meeting wherein we will take up the individual items and vote on those. To begin with, the items from the beginning, including departmental reports, are administrative. Therefore, we'll move directly to communications from the mayor. Item number 3, from Mayor Iafallo, request City Council approve a 1-week extension for submission of the proposed budget to the council from May 10th to May 17th, 2024. An additional week is required to complete the reconciliation of accounts for the fiscal year. Any of the council have any comments? The mayor has been very diligent in handling various items that have come forward at a time when you least expected. We have a new accounting firm handling the day-to-day business of the controller's office, which in and of itself not only addresses the day-to-day business of the city, but also helps the mayor put together the proposed budget this coming year, and the transition has been going smoothly. I'm happy to find out, and as a result, Mayor Iafallo would feel more comfortable with a week to submit the proposed budget to the City Council. Again, any council members have any comments, questions, issues with item number 3? Now moving on to item number 4, communications from division department heads. 4, from Director of Parks and Recreation, Director Laxo, request City Council approve the use of Avery Playground on Tuesdays, Fridays by LA Sports Club flag football camp. Camp will begin May 7th, 2024. Insurance is attached. They've done this in the past and we've had no problems, right, Brad?
That's correct. It's a new location. They're just trying to expand their programming a bit, but we've always had a great relationship with the LA Sports Club.
Thank you. Any council member have any questions on item number 4 or of Director Laxo? Now moving on to number 5, again from Director Laxo. Request City Council approve closure of Ridge Road between Electric Avenue and South Park on June 23rd, 2024 from 9 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. for the on-street restaurant event to allow two-way traffic on Victory Avenue, and also waive the city's permit fees and suspend the city's open container ordinance for the duration of the event. Director Laxo, it was a huge success last year. Anything you want to add on this item?
I may have omitted this during my initial request. That should read Victory Avenue and Colton Avenue, both of which would be, I think it would be prudent to allow two-way traffic. We're going to have ways in and out for Victory Avenue being for public safety, Colton more for band and restaurant drop-off and pickup of food, seeing as how they don't have direct access to their stands on Ridge Road. But yeah, this is more or less the same proposals that we had last year, and we were happy with the results that we achieved last year.
Thank you, Director Laxo. Any council members have any questions or any comments on number 5?
I do. In regards to the ordinance itself, with the open container, waiving of the open container be specific to this area here?
Yeah, I believe that was in the initial wording of my request, that it's contained. Yeah, it's contained in the footprint of the event itself, not outside.
Because in the event that they wander off premise, that container law is no longer, or the waiving of it is no longer active.
That would make perfect sense. In fact, I don't think it would really work all that well if we did allow people to just take their beer and leave. I know what you're saying. It's, yeah, well, then they're subject to the open container law like anybody else.
And of course, the difficulties of having it citywide, we can't even imagine.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions on item number 5? We will amend the request to include Colton Avenue
Thank you.
when the time comes to vote. Moving on to item number 6 from Assistant City Controller by the City Council of retirement of firefighter Gary Wallawender on April 27, 2024. On behalf of the council, we wish firefighter Wallawender Godspeed, and we hope he enjoys his retirement. Wish him health and continued success. Any other members have any comments? If not, you're welcome to make comments during the regular meeting if you care to. Moving on to item number 7 from Assistant City Controller, request City Council approve an ordinance recognizing the increase in revenue of $22,955 in the police car budget line. The increase is from the sale of various police equipment. Director Rupp, anything you want to add on that?
No, they've been doing that to just get the fleet back up to snuff.
Any council members have any questions? Director Morocco, any comments on item number 7?
No.
It has a corresponding ordinance, which we will entertain at the time. Moving on to item number 8, again from the Assistant City Controller. Request the City Council approve an ordinance recognizing the increase in revenue in the Fire Department training school budget due to the cancellation of a training class. Refund came from the New York State Association of Fire Chiefs. Our Assistant City Controller, Peggy, do you have anything you wish to add?
No, the fire chief said that it was canceled, so he wanted the money put back in his budget.
And the City Council appreciates your being here today, and we were informed that you've undertaken additional duties again in this time of need, and we certainly appreciate your efforts in that respect. So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Your wonderful help at a needed time. Thank you. Any council members have any questions on that particular item? All right, moving on to item number 9. Our Senior Foreman of Public Works requests City Council approve trade-in one Ford F-250 truck to Lacey Ford. Trade-in value is $40,000 and authorize the purchase of a new 2024 Ford Transit van from DeLacy Ford in the amount of $45,884. The difference in cost of $5,884 will be taken from the equipment budget line. Senior Foreman Gherkin, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, the reason we're trying to do this is just to upgrade vehicles. Since the council approved the purchase of 2 new pickup trucks last month, we can afford to trade this one in. With the trade-in values of vehicles being so high, you know, we paid $35,000. Excuse me, I'm sorry. $39,000 in 2022 and used it for 2 years. So if we can upgrade a vehicle and only cost the city, you know, just under $6,000, I think it's a good investment.
Yeah, thank you. Any council members have any comments on item number 9? Thank you, Senior Foreman Gherkin. Moving on to item number 10, again from Senior Foreman Gherkin, request City Council approve the ordinance for funding of the Kirby Bridge Joint Repair Project paid out of the contingent account budget line. Total cost of the project, $93,980, with FEMA paying $232.50 of this cost. The amount of $51,756.69 needs to be transferred to the contractual expense FEMA account. $42,223.31 was previously moved to this account. Foreman Gherkin, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yes, the original estimate that we received for this project in February 15th of 23, the estimated total cost was $42,223.31. Once we went out to bid for contractors, the total cost came in at $93,980. Most of them increases are all material increases. For example, for the bridge joints themselves, it went up $6,264. Some sealing for the joints went up $3,680, for example. And the reinforcement metal bars have gone up to almost $9,000 more. So the increases are basically in materials. Tom Nicometto went back to FEMA, and he was able to get more of a reimbursement, the 87.5% reimbursement.
Good, okay. Tom, thank you.
We just had to do an amend, because they already paid us for the first 42,000 of it, so we just had to do an amendment to get the rest of it back. They had no issues with it, just had to send our bids in.
Now, a question on that particular item. Has the bridge been flagged by the state DOT or is there a flag on that bridge now?
No, there's not.
And
Nope.
the decision to repair it came from where?
The decision to repair it, it was an issue, one of the city plow trucks in the blizzard tore apart the metal joint, so it needed to be repaired, but it's not flagged, it's not closed.
Okay, very good. All right, any of the council members have any issues or questions, comments on agenda number 10? If not, there is a corresponding ordinance to accompany that, item number 10. Moving on to item number 11 again, from Senior Foreman Gherkin, request City Council approve the bid from Hunting Valley Construction, Inc. for the Kirby Street Bridge Joint Project in the amount of $93,980. Foreman Gherkin, anything you want to add on that?
No, that was the lowest bid out of the three, and this type of work is in the wheelhouse of what they do.
Thank you. Any council members have any questions on this?
Will this be a project that's in conjunction with the repaving of Kirby as well
No, repaving in Kirby will start next year.
next year? And this is something that we're gonna break ground spring?
We have to have it completed by June 19th.
Okay.
Yeah, for FEMA, for the additional FEMA reimbursement has to be completed and invoiced by June 19th.
All right, if there aren't any other issues on item number 11, moving to communications from citizens. Item number 12, Caitlin Jaworski, Lackawanna Police Department requests City Council approve the annual law enforcement torch run/walk on Saturday, May 11, 2024, 11 a.m. to benefit the Special Olympics. Assistance from the Police Department and DPW is also requested. Any comments or questions on item number 12?
This is usually a great event.
Yeah.
Kate's been doing a great job coordinating this. I believe this is the third year,
Okay.
and it's grown. We started off, I believe, the first year with 100 applicants, and there's runners and walkers. It's a great time.
And for a great cause.
Yep.
Anyone else have any comments on item number 12? Now moving on to item number 13, Pamela Edom, Library Director, requests City Council approve a series of summer concerts during the months of July and August, and that outdoor performance permits be granted. Concerts will take place on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 7:30 p.m. For our city attorney, Jen, is there anything in particular that needs to be done on this to accomplish this particular request outside of the ordinary?
Just the appropriate application has to be filled out from the city clerk's office, and it has to be filled out correctly. Other than that, that's all I could see right now.
So they would still be required to fill out an entertainment application, correct?
Correct.
The outdoor application. Would one suffice for all 4 days?
There's one entity is sponsoring all these, right? So that entity should write the letter, which is on our application, saying in the letter, they have to explain what we asked in the application for a permit.
Well, you and Carl are on that board, right?
We are, so I guess.
So we would expect compliance.
You would expect that, right?
You would hope for it.
The only reason why, I just want to make sure that the application is solid. This is the first time the library's requested anything of this nature under this executive director who's been great. She's been running the programs and she's just so full of energy. wants to introduce a lot of new programs. However, I don't want her to be terrified through the process, so I just want to make sure that the application would suffice all 4 events or all dates, and if there's anything else. I would also add to this to refer it to public safety, because it would be nice to have some kind of public or like law enforcement available for parking reasons, because we do want to utilize the parking space as a place of entertainment. So to have them defer to Memorial Field, that would need some manpower from the city if it's possible.
Sure.
So it would be the city clerk, public safety, I would think recreation too.
Is there anything on Tuesday nights here? Right.
This is,
Tuesdays.
where are we having the concerts at?
At the library.
I have no idea what the library schedules
No,
are.
at Memorial.
No.
Oh, Memorial,
If the
And this-
library's,
there are, yeah, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. We do have, as you'll remember from the last meeting, we approved the use of Memorial Field for softball for Tuesday nights for the Healthy Buffalo Softball League. They paid the $2,000 lease fee for both fields, and those games will be going on throughout July and August. So you could be running into a bit of a crowded house there.
And speaking of the library, one of these days, I think that the council should be given a report as to the plan for the upkeep and revitalization of the building, the library building itself. I know it's been a controversy in the past, and I think some sort of plan or plan of operation may be, or the council may be interested in hearing that.
absolutely.
See what the costs are, what the priorities are, and how we're gonna address those.
I'm happy that you mentioned that and that you're open to that idea, because it has been a struggle in regards to opening communication. The mayor has been great within the recent past. However, historically, the disconnect between the library and the city is sad. It's heartbreaking, because it's such a beautiful location. We have the last Carnegie Library, and there's so much historical value to it. However, it's not really taken into consideration like the arts and literature and all of the recreation that the library provides that the city can't during, especially the winter time. It's a place where families go almost throughout the week, and there's programs for toddlers and for there's so much that the library offers, but there's this disconnect. And myself and Carl didn't realize that or understand it until we became part of the board, and just the basic maintenance of it, where some of it is vital, such as the HVAC unit, the heating and cooling components, the boilers. Those are things that are
The windows,
utilized
right,
day
the
to day.
windows.
Right.
Well, we should probably consider then, and not occupy the time now, but a work session
I would love
would
that.
be in order, I
The
think.
librarian and board are all on board. They want to make the relationship with the city a vital and vibrant relationship. We've talked long hours about how to improve it without being burdened to the city, which also, there's so much state funding that Sean Ryan wants to give the city of Lackawanna, and it's ready. The actual assessment of the building was just done by a firm, I don't remember their name, D'Amato, yeah, and that was paid by a grant, $50,000 to highlight all of the infrastructural improvements that are required to keep it within its historical category.
Well, that brings up another question now to Chuck Clark. Do you know offhand if the library is in a historical district or has ever been declared to be a historical?
It is not in a historical district, and I don't think it has been submitted to the state for historic distinction.
Maybe that should be considered.
It's something to consider.
It is
So
something
that-
to consider. However, a lot of the grants that are going to be, or I don't know the exact language, but in order to do some of these improvements, they have to stay within a certain parameter of the historical value and integrity of the building. So we can't just go in and completely change the whole
Well,
aesthetic.
the roof is the big problem,
The
right?
roof is definitely.
Actually, Council President, that's, I believe, many years ago, the topic was broached, and the roof is the issue
Yeah.
with the library.
It would have to be.
So if there was some way to bring the roof back to original, I don't know if it was terracotta or whatever the structure was, but whatever the original roof was, that then would allow you to at least get in the ballgame of preservation. But you are right, anything you're doing cannot alter any of the other historical significance of the Carnegie design or any of that stuff like that.
Nor does the library want to
Exactly.
compromise with its integrity.
Exactly.
And then because of the great assistance by Sean Ryan, he's made it where it would be a 90-10 reimbursement. The
Oh,
city
wow.
would be, yeah,
Well, we have to pursue that.
we would have to
So
for sure.
the sooner, and I'll leave it in your hands, the sooner we get a work session and start working towards this, I think we really need to address it. So,
Absolutely, and it comes at a great time because the assessment was just done within the past month.
very good. All right.
And just to keep in mind, we do have a grant writer.
Mhm.
Not that he would need to find the grants, but they are fluid in how to navigate the paperwork of the grants, so just keep that in mind as well.
How would that work with the money through the state with Sean Ryan already being ready and willing to sign?
Well, usually you have to, he's willing to grant the money, but you still have to complete paperwork and documentation and applications, because behind that is typically some funding source, whether it's DASNY or whomever, Office of Child and Family Services, wherever the money's coming from, there's an
And that-
application on the end of that.
That would be something far beyond my scope, but it's obviously something that would already be, if it hasn't already been implied, then it would definitely be when it's official and ready to go.
And if we don't use a grant writer, somebody internally can do it, but there is an application step that we'll need to do once the senator raises his hand.
Very good.
Very good. All right, something to look forward to. Moving on to item number 14, communication from Wade Turner. Request City Council approve closure of Bethel Street, blocking Lackawanna, Wilkes-Barre to host a garden party for the Lackawanna class of 2024. Date and time, but this is an annual event and it's well attended and well done. I don't see any problem with it. If any council members have any questions, comments?
No, but we would have to include May 23rd from 4 to 7, because that's not in the, is it? It is, oh, it is in the
Right.
packet that was
Right.
submitted.
All right, as far as business registrations, we will be hearing from Denise Lorenz regarding Denise's Doghouse LLC, 81 Shamokin Drive, during the appropriate time of the formal council meeting. And I requested that the tabled entertainment licenses be brought off the table. We'll vote on that. The poorhouse will be removed from that list as they are no longer in business. But the other remaining three have filled out the new permit applications, so we can move forward with those if everyone is in agreement. All right, unless there's any comments from anyone regarding business registrations, I'll call the meeting to order for May 6, 2024 with the pledge of allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City clerk, call the roll, please.
Maflahe? Present. Anderson?
Here.
Moretti?
Here.
Sirdike?
Present.
Morano? Water Department?
Here.
Development and Marketing?
Here.
Public Works?
Here.
Public Safety?
Here.
Assistant Comptroller?
Here.
Recreation?
Here.
Okay, hearings from citizens, we have two, but Ms. Lorenz, you were on our agenda, so you don't need to speak at this time. We will let you know when it's time. We do have John Ingram. Ingram, you're front forward.
I'm John Ingram, 25 Church Street. Just want to make sure when we do the event for June, for Retro, that we get in touch with NFTA so they know how to reroute because so they won't be coming down our street in the middle of our.
Duly noted, great advice.
I actually took care of
Also,
that.
secondly, what Councilwoman Mayor said about the library, it's great to see the council and so much in support. I've been on the library board for almost 8 years, and I remember when it wasn't great. When they used to call, they would be scared to call. And it's great to see how this council is working toward the library and working toward make sure that we all help.
Good, thank you, John. All right, Grace?
Council President?
Yes.
Can I make a motion to have Denise, Lorenz present earlier instead of having her wait till the very tail end of the meeting?
Is there a reason for that?
I feel that she shouldn't have to wait. Do you mind waiting till the end of the meeting? Okay, then I withdraw my motion.
So, Ms. Lorenz, are you not interested in our agenda? It's an exciting agenda.
I actually read it, I am interested.
Oh, okay,
Very
there
good.
you go, then I shouldn't have.
So you withdraw your?
I withdraw my motion.
Grace?
Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 22nd, 2024.
Random moves to adopt minutes regular meeting April 22, 2024 as written.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to adopt minutes of the regular meeting of April 22nd, 2024. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Departmental reports 1 and 2.
Random moves to receive and file departmental reports 1 and 2 inclusive.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to receive and file departmental reports 1 and 2 inclusive. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Mayor Iafallo requests the City Council approve a 1-week extension for submission of a proposed budget to the council from May 10th to May 17th, 2024. An additional week is required to complete the reconciliation of accounts for the current fiscal year.
Random moves to approve request with the thanks to Mayor Iafallo and our accountants for putting together this package under, almost under duress.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve requests with thanks to the mayor and the accountants preparing the package. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Director of Parks and Recreation requests the City Council approve the use of Avery Playground on Tuesdays and Fridays by the LA Sports Club Flag Football Camp. Camp will begin May 7th, 2024. Insurance is attached.
Random moves to approve request.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Director of Parks and Recreation requests the City Council approve the closure of Ridge Road between Electric Avenue and South Park on June 23rd, 2024, from 9 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. for the on-street restaurant event, to allow two-way traffic on Victory and Colton Avenue, and to also waive the city's permit fees and suspend the city's open container ordinance for the duration of the event.
Random moves to approve request, refer to public safety, public works.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to approve request as amended, referred to Public Safety and Public Works. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Assistant City Comptroller advises the City Council of the retirement of firefighter Gary Wallawender on April 27th, 2024.
Random moves to receive and file and extend Godspeed to firefighter Gary Wallawender, that he enjoy a healthful and productive retirement.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to receive and file, wish you Godspeed and enjoy retirement for Mr. Wallawender. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Assistant City Comptroller requests the City Council approve an ordinance recognizing the increase in revenue of $22,955 in the police cars budget line. The increase is from the sale of various police equipment.
Moreno moves to receive and file act on orders, but before we continue with that, not only would I like to thank Peggy Begay, who is here as our assistant city controller and has done an exemplary effort in picking up as assistant city controller the task of holding all of this together. So we're grateful to her for her efforts. She has again rescued the city in times of need. But I would also like to introduce from our new accounting firm on the interim basis, Mike Etu, who's present in the audience. I'd like to thank you, Mike, to you and your accounting firm for stepping up and helping the city of Lackawanna piece together the needs of the business of Lackawanna on a day-to-day basis and moving forward with not only clearing up some of the possible problem areas, but also addressing, hopefully, and answering to the best that it can be answered, the software issues that we've experienced in the past, in hopes that we can redress those and not experience the same shortcomings as we have in the past. But my primary purpose, not only introducing you, but to thank you for your efforts, and we as a council do thank you.
Thank you, that's all.
And, yeah. So I would move, and I believe it. That would be seconded by Ed Al. Everybody willing to do that? Thank you, Councilmember Moretti.
Motion by Morano, second et al. To receive and file act on ordinance. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. An ordinance amending the 2023-2024 budget ordinances to increase the budgeted revenues and appropriations, recognizing the sale proceeds from various police equipment in the amount of $22,955.
Morano moves to adopt ordinance as written.
Anderson, second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to adopt ordinance as written. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Assistant City Comptroller requests the City Council approve an ordinance recognizing the increase in revenue in the Fire Department Training School budget line due to the cancellation of a training class. Refund came from the New York State Association of Fire Chiefs.
Morano moves to receive and file act on ordinance.
Ready, second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to receive and file act on ordinance. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. An ordinance amending the 2023-2024 budget ordinances to increase the budgeted revenues and appropriations in the amount of $1,625 due to the cancellation of a fire department training class. The increase is budgeted to the fire department training schools.
Morano moves to adopt ordinance as written.
Ready, second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to adopt ordinance as written. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman of Public Works requests the City Council approve the trade-in of one Ford F-250 truck to DeLacy Ford. Trade-in value is $40,000 and authorize the purchase of one new 2024 Ford Transit van from DeLacy Ford in the amount of $45,884. The difference in cost is $5,884, which will be taken from the equipment budget line.
Morano moves to approve request.
Second, Sirdike.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve the ordinance for the funding of the Kirby Bridge Joint Repair Project to be paid out of the contingent account budget line. Total cost of the project is $93,980, with FEMA paying $82,232.50 for this cost. The amount of $51,756.69 needs to be transferred to the contractual expense FEMA account. $42,223.31 was previously moved to this account.
Morano moves to receive and file act on ordinance.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to receive and file act on ordinance. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. An ordinance amending the 2023-2024 budget ordinances, increasing budget code contractual expenses FEMA by $51,756.69, the remainder required for the Kirby Street Bridge Joint Repair Project.
Morano moves to adopt ordinance as written.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to adopt ordinance as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman of Public Works requests the City Council approve the bid from Hunting Valley Construction, Inc. for the Kirby Street Bridge Joint Project in the amount of $93,980.
Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Caitlin Jaworski, Lackawanna Police Department, requests the City Council approve the annual law enforcement torch run/walk on Saturday, May 11th, 2024, at 11 a.m. to benefit the Special Olympics. Assistance from the Police Department and DPW is also requested.
Morano moves to approve request, refer to public safety and public works.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe to approve request, refer to Public Safety and Public Works. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Pamela Edholm, Library Director, requests the City Council approve a series of summer concerts during the months of July and August, and that outdoor performance permits be granted. Concerts will take place on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 7:30 p.m.
This probably should be tabled pending the receipt of the applications. Do you think, Mr. Gahn?
Yes, Council President. The applications have to meet the criteria that are listed out in the directions, and because the council doesn't have anything in front of them to either consider, approve, or deny, the motion should be appropriately tabled until the applications are received, reviewed, and considered.
Thank you, Mr. Gahn. Morano moves to table a request.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe to table request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Wade Turner, resident, requests the City Council approve the closure of Bethlehem Street, blocking Lackawanna and Wilkes-Barre to host a garter party for the Lackawanna class of 2024.
May 23rd, between the hours of 4 and 7, is that correct?
Yes.
That should be included. Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Moved by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request as amended. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Business registrations.
Ms. Lorenz, you're up, and you had, welcome to the floor. It would cost you, 3 minutes.
I'm a fast talker,
Yeah.
and I have notes. I actually made packets for all of the council members, and one for you too, Mr. Gahn.
Thank you.
Please review whenever you have the chance. It's my LLC paperwork, my business plan, and my approval letters from the city. Well, thank you for allowing me to speak. All of you that I have spoken to in the last week have said that laws can be amended, and that's the only thing that I am asking you to consider today. I want to quickly start by showing you the layout of my property and why I think it's a great location for the business. I have 3 egresses to my home. I have a front, a side, and a back. I have a huge backyard. There's a 6-foot privacy fence all around it. My driveway can fit 4 cars, so there would never be any traffic in the street impeding any of my neighbors. So, and you're welcome to look at this too, if you'd like. Okay, the idea for my small business came about due to the fact that as family and friends go on vacation, we've always been the resident dog watcher when everyone goes. So I figured, why not take our passion for dogs and put it into a small business? So that's when I thought, okay, we could cater to families that go on vacation, busy professionals that maybe travel for work. And again, I want to remind everyone, I know there were so many misconceptions because everyone heard little snippets here and there, but we are only asking for 2 dogs at any one time, not more than that. I have been a social worker for Adult Protective Services for the last 25 years. As the years go on, it has grown harder and harder. Our clientele and the issues have been more difficult and sometimes actually dangerous. So my plan was to consider early retirement, as I'm in my 50s already, and I just wanted to operate my small business out of my home. I needed a plan, obviously, to support my family adequately. So I worked with a business advisor to complete a very thorough business plan, and it includes a lot of safeguards that will ensure that there are no quality of life issues for any of my neighbors. All my neighbors actually have dogs. I've watched their dogs. I do have the 6-foot privacy fence, and I have an excellent relationship with all of my neighbors. I live in a great neighborhood. And as Mr. Clark will tell you, I presented the plan to Mr. Clark. He allowed me to sit down and meet with him. And he told me that I could not operate the business unless I got the go-ahead from zoning and planning. He did warn me that they were tough and that they would probably deny me because it was a residential neighborhood, but said give it my best shot. I did, and I was voted yes unanimously. So they actually questioned my plan too, because I think they thought maybe they misunderstood, and they again asked me, 2 dogs? And I said yes. And they said, okay, no problem at all. So imagine my surprise almost 5 months later when the fire marshal tells me that he doesn't think the city council is going to approve my business. I had no idea what he was talking about because not one city official or any paperwork I filed with the city mentioned the city council at all. At all. So had he not told me this recently, it would probably be another 6 months and I would be operating in a legal business because no one ever told me. So when I presented to zoning and planning, the then city attorney was present, didn't say a word. No one had any questions. They just questioned 2 dogs, yes. And what I'm so concerned about is that not any of these boards or any of these officials, the city attorney, zoning, planning, development, the fire marshal, even animal control. I ran this by animal control a year ago. He thought it was the best idea ever. No one knew that there was a law on the books prohibiting my business. I have paid hundreds of dollars to the city. I went to every department. I did everything legally. I hired an attorney, a business attorney. I am now a licensed LLC in New York State. I put thousands of dollars of my money into this. I know that it's just a matter of business to all of you. It's not to us. This is our life. We may have to move to a community that will welcome it. We've been here 21 years. I have been a homeowner for 21 years here. I did not grow up here like all of you. I chose to buy my property here. I chose to raise my daughter here. The city has failed us terribly. And as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to everyone talk about different bills, I'm hearing the word amendment, amendment, amendment. And that's all I ask, is that my small business be considered, because I put so much work into this and there are no checks and balances here. As a civil servant for 25 years, if this happened in the county, I can guarantee I would be fired. I can guarantee it. So I'm pleading with you to at least consider it. I would take any recommendations, restrictions, home inspections. I passed one with flying colors with the fire marshal, but I would take frequent inspections even. But I worked so hard to go through all these steps only to be told by someone that you are all going to decline me. So it took our current city attorney doing his homework to see that there was a law on the books. So I do feel this is a huge disservice. The only home my daughter's ever known, she may have to leave. I'm not going to give up on my retirement dream, so I will take it to a community that will welcome it, but I don't think that's fair. I don't think I should have to leave. I think I was misled, I was misinformed, and again, I don't think any of the departments here are on the same page and anyone knows what the other is doing. I did it all legally with an attorney, and I am now a licensed business that I can't even operate. I don't have thousands of dollars sitting around. And it seems like I wasted it for the time being unless, I relocate. So again, I'm just asking for consideration as a longtime resident here. I'm a professional by day. My business would be operated exactly the way I operate day to day in my social work position. I know how to do things professionally.
Well, thank you, Ms. Lawrence. And the only thing I can say as far as what information you were able to get during your pursuing this endeavor was unfortunate. Because not only is there a law on the books, actually there are two. There's a law restricting the number of dogs residents can have, and there's also a restriction against kennels. And so there's two hurdles to overcome. And for it to be characterized that it's this council who would be denying your application is really not really fair. We are restricted by the laws on the books also. An amendment of those particular ordinances are not, an amendment is not on the agenda for today. Whether the council would consider something like that in the future, I can't speak to that. It's a possibility. I don't know. But there initially was and originally was good reason for the laws that were passed to be on the books because there was a need. There was a time in the city of Lackawanna where there were packs of dogs, wild dogs, running loose and causing havoc throughout the city. These laws were enacted to prevent that. We haven't had those problems in a long time. Now, just this past, if my memory serves me correctly, this past meeting, city council meeting, we had again denied a business application similar to yours. This is not to say that you haven't addressed so many of the concerns that may have been present when these laws were initially enacted, but how do we deny the next person from coming forward, saying to them, well, we can't because you're not supposed to have more than 2 dogs, and we can't because you're not supposed to open a kennel. I don't know what the zoning board was thinking or what the planning board was thinking. They're an independent entity. I don't know what you were applying for before the zoning board, because the zoning board can entertain certain modifications or exceptions to zoning but they don't approve business applications. So I don't know what they actually passed. I read the minutes. Again, I don't know what their action entails or entitles you to.
Okay, it was,
Um,
sorry.
So, granted, there are some issues that should have been addressed early on. We as a city may have to make modifications to the application process so that this unfortunately doesn't happen again. But as a council, we are not only faced with a situation like yours, but almost every business that comes in and asks for a business license has already gone, rented a storefront, put money into the storefront, remodeled, bought equipment, then they come to the council and say, you know, just give your blessing. Well, you know what? Lackawanna doesn't operate that way anymore, and there's good reason for it. We have zoning requirements because people who live in residential areas want to maintain their quiet enjoyment of their property without a barber shop opening up out of somebody's basement, a hairdresser's shop, a nail shop opening up out of somebody's basement. It's a residential area. It's not a commercial area. So there are good reasons why there are zoning laws. And that's what we're faced with. We can't approve in my opinion, approve your application today. My suggestion may be that you lobby the council members to maybe modify or amend. But as it stands right now, we can't take action, legal action that I'm aware of, and I'll hear from our city attorney momentarily, that would override the two existing laws that are already on the books, and for good reason. They're on the books. You spoke with me, you spoke with Councilmember Sirdike, you spoke at length with
Yes.
our city attorney, and I believe we were consistent in our opinion as to whether you would be successful in your application. And that would be that you would not be successful. We extended an invitation to you to come here to save you time if you want to lobby the council to amend the existing ordinances on the books and give you an opportunity to tell all the members of the council what you told a couple of us individually in our other conversations outside of the council chambers and outside of city business. It's with heavy hearts that I'm sure we have to take the action we have to take. It may not be the end of the road. We hope you don't have to move. We hope your daughter doesn't have to move. But we also have an obligation to the rest of the city. It's not just what Denise Lorenz wants to do with her property, but we're faced with this on a regular basis with people who want to say, well, you know, what's the reason? Well, let me open a gym. Well, okay, the zoning and planning said, just give a blanket approval and then we have to be the bad guys. Well, we have to do what we have to do, and unfortunately that's what we're faced with today. Do any, City Attorney Gahn, is there anything you want to add to this?
Sure, I'll just add, first of all, I know a lot of time and effort has been put into your application, and it is very professional. And I told you that on the telephone, and I may have shared that with Councilmember Sirdike and also Council President Morano. Notwithstanding, today, the law is what it says. The council by law has to follow the law in the city of Lackawanna, and no exceptions would be made by the current law just because the law states. In one fact that all the council people should know of, Sirdike and Morano may know this, the applicant only wants to watch 2 dogs, but also 2 dogs reside at the current premises. So that brings the total to 4 dogs at a premises where the law only permits 2 dogs per address. That's what the law says, per address, not even per residence. So even, let's say I had a huge commercial property right now, the way the law states, only 2 dogs can be at that address. And if the law changes, which a lot of people don't realize, let's say there's a multi-unit building. So if the council changes the law, what's good for you has to be good for the other 19,000 people in Lackawanna. So if I have a multi-unit, 2, maybe 4 different residences in one building, that means that the way the current law states, there's only 2 dogs per that address. That's all you could have. But if the council were to change the law, who knows? There could be 8, 10, 12 dogs there. And that's something that goes into the consideration of this type of provision in the city code back in 2001, 2007, 2011, when the certain laws concerning dogs per address, kennel licensing, kennel registration, when all those were enacted. And not only dogs running wild, there was evidence of dog fighting in certain parts of the city, which again is still a modern day activity that happens in certain areas. And that was the intent years ago, I believe, some of the intent and why the laws were. But other than, I had great conversations with Ms. Lorenz despite the process you've had to go to. I know you understand. This does allow you, though, to voice your concern to the council people. And one of the options is to attempt to see if you could change the law in the city of Lackawanna. That's going to be more time and effort. And I think you may have maximized your time and effort at this stage. I encourage you to continue to do it, but I don't know if you want to do it, seeing as though you went through all the other steps that you have, and you stand here today knowing that most likely your registration will be voted down based on the current law.
What would we have to do to amend the law? What would be involved in
Sure,
that?
you either on your own or with someone, you with someone meaning you hire an attorney, but you attempt to propose changed or amended legislation. And like I said on the telephone one other time, you should go through your current council person, and that council person takes it to everybody else, and then they all consider it. In some of the things I mentioned tonight, dog fighting, sanitary conditions, examples of other businesses people try to put in their basements, producing records or music. Imagine living next to that and being able to do that. So that's all the stuff all these council people have to consider. And even if you do attempt to change the legislation, the end result may be, 3-2 denying such things. So it's more time and effort, but I encourage you to do it, but that may be it. Or you may it be 5-0, let's amend it this way because the way the new legislation is proposed addresses all these things and it would allow Ms. Lorenz to have her business.
Right.
But basically how you do it is you prepare something on your own, kind of following the current code, and then you work through your local council person, and then that they could be a sponsor in order to bring it to everybody else.
I would be willing to do that. All my bordering neighbors were served by zoning and planning, and they were all in approval. They all know informally also. So they were all in favor of that. So I'm left with asking Mr. Clark, how did it get this far? How did it get this far? Because I've actually talked to you after I was approved.
So I just want to, and I'm sorry, Council President, there are even rules at these meetings, meaning you have to ask the Council
Oh, I'm
President,
You have to address
I've
meetings.
never done
and
this
then
before.
he
Oh,
will
I'm sorry.
address whether that should be answered or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
Again, I can't speak to how an individual handled. I'm sure Mr. Clark just undertook Director of Development, so he's not entirely familiar with all the rules and regulations. There is some surprise on our part as to the building inspector, zoning and planning, and what happened there, which we intend to look further into. But I don't think it would serve any purpose to get into a discussion with Mr. Clark or any other department head at this particular time. It wouldn't add anything to the conversation. We recognize where this whole thing fell apart. And we sympathize with you for what you went through for that. Our intent is to not let it happen again in another instance. We will address that. Mr. Gahn, you raised your hand.
I was just gonna say, it's arguable whether the process worked or failed. So from your perspective, it failed. On the other hand, ultimately, it has to come before the council in order to be approved. So it passed somewhat, but without talking about my predecessors, the law department attended these meetings, and maybe at that time, a closer look should have been made. It wasn't, for whatever reason. So, as for accountability, there is blame to place, even with the Department of Law, but it's not fatal to the process. Meaning this mistake, in your eyes, it's hey, I spent time, money, and additional effort in order to do this. But in the eyes of the process, despite the zoning and planning and whatever they discussed and voted on, and I wasn't at those meetings, ultimately the registration is made by the law body behind me, and it got here, but it got here and not the way you wanted it to, and where it most likely will end. But it's not an end, remember that. There's still steps, and I'm willing to at least continue to at least guide you to the extent I can. I can't give you legal advice, I give the city legal advice. But I can at least make suggestions if you want to continue this endeavor.
Councilmember?
I guess what I would say is that, how do we, you mentioned going forward, how are we gonna go forward so this doesn't happen again?
Well, I've had a conversation with Mr. Gahn. There does need to be better training or training at all to the different boards that have this jurisdiction, and a different application process that maybe starts with the city clerk's office, which may be the place to start, or the law department, so that direction can be more accurately given in the future, so that you don't talk to 3 different people and get 3 different opinions. So that is being undertaken. Councilmember, sir.
I feel bad.
I mean, you understand that I went through code, I went through the city clerk's office, went to development, zoning, and planning. I did it all.
It's just ironic that we've gotten faced with the same situation, two meetings in a row where one didn't go through zoning and planning, yet still made it to the agenda, and then we have someone who did her great due diligence and created a business plan, and it dates back to December. Her livelihood is at stake. I know we're bound, and I spoke with Ms. Lorenz as well. We're bound by the charter, and guess who else is? Zoning and planning as well. And how it fell through the cracks, and it brought her to this level where, in the beginning of her statements, she knew that it wasn't going to be approved tonight, and I don't think that was your objective, correct?
I just want to be heard.
Right. And not necessarily modifying the city charter was your goal tonight either. But internally, we have an issue where we're dragging residents around that are putting their hard-earned money into endeavors that they want to see flourish, and then not by any fault of our own that we have to reject them, but the process should have never, ever gotten this far.
Well,
And I apologize immensely for what it's worth. I know this doesn't make it any easier for you, but I echo the same advice that our city attorney and our city council president and council person has, 4th Ward Council member Sardike stated, to see if we can get this to a place where it can come to light. And I also spoke with you that, yeah, you did your due diligence, however, the next person that wants to open up a business like this may not. And we would be bound by the same approval method that we use with you. So We're really stuck in a hard situation right now because it isn't by no fault of our own, of course, definitely not yours either. And, you put a lot of time and effort into this, and I'm at a loss for words because you shouldn't have gotten this far, to ultimately be rejected.
And in conclusion, Ms. Lorenz, please keep in mind the fact that we as a council have an obligation to all the city. Those zoned areas as residential should remain residential so people can enjoy quietly the integrity of their homes. And not to be chipped away, diluted, and adulterated by people who want to open a basement business here. It's only this, it's only that. Well, no, it's not only that. It happens here, it happens there. Now you don't have a residential neighborhood. Now you have parking problems. Now you have barking dogs. It's all of that we have to consider. So it's not a black and white situation. It's not even gray. I mean, it's multiple shades. So it's a difficult thing we have to grope with. But Councilmember Muflahi, he really struck a chord when she said, you've done everything and above and beyond. What about the next person? Now, if we approve Denise Lorenz's application and the next person comes in and says, well, you approved this individual last time, we're only gonna have 4 dogs. Why can't you do this for us? And then they sue because precedent's been established. Now what do? Now we further diluted the residential neighborhood. So these are the kinds of considerations we have to wrestle with, so please understand that. You're welcome to take the next steps. But we will have to take a vote if there's a motion and second on this evening, so thank you.
Thank you.
Moreno moves to deny the request.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to deny request. Maflahe?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Morano?
You mean
I mean
Moretti?
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Council President Morano requests that the entertainment licenses tabled at the April 8, 2024 council meeting be removed from the table.
Moreno moves to remove the Class 1 entertainment licenses from the table.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to remove Class 1 entertainment licenses from the table. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson? Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Class 1 live music and/or mechanical reproductions, Sunny Reds, Restaurant and Bar, the Villa Banquet Hall, the Poorhouse Sports Bar, and Steel City Pub.
Moreno moves to approve Class 1 entertainment licenses for Sunny Reds, number 1, the Villa, number 2, and Steel City Pub, number 4. Number 3, the Poorhouse is no longer in business and not applicable. So it's 1, 2, and 4.
Second,
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike to approve class entertainment licenses number 1, Sunny Reds, number 2, the Villa, and number 4, Steel City Pub. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson? Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
As far as council is concerned, any old business or other table items? Now Moreno moves to adjourn.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe to adjourn meeting. Maflahe? Yes. Anderson? Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Thank you all and have a good night.